Time's up.
Look, guys, this game is all about what we do. It's all about us, just like it's been all year long. All right, so you've got to focus and not get the external factors have any factor on how you focus in this game. You want to focus on the things that have made us good all year long, which is discipline to execute and do your job, play with relentless effort and toughness for 60 minutes in the game, no matter what the circumstance in the game is, and an intensity that they can't match. Now, you guys talk about respect all the time. All right, Kirby says we ain't what we used to be. Well, by God, I want to prove something different. I don't want to see a smile on that face after the game. And the other thing is the ultimate disrespect is when somebody takes what's yours. And this is our game. It's our time. And there's a bunch of guys trying to take it from us. So that makes the shit personal. So let's don't be denied what we want. Let's go. Relentless effort for 60 minutes. Dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3, dominate.
All right, so what we do is important, but how we do what we do becomes more and more important. And that's for every guy here in terms of how we do what we do. All right, we got to do it better. So our goal is to have the kind of team that nobody wants to play. And that means that we have to impose our will to dominate the competition all the time. So what does that take? All right, the first thing you have to do is you have to have toughness. All right, you got to be tougher than everybody that we play. All right, but, you know, I've never stood up here in all the time that I've been here and ever really defined toughness for you. The way I'm going to define toughness to you, because I'm talking about mental toughness, and I think everybody can relate to it, is it's all about what does it take to break you. And the reason I come to this is we had to put hurricane windows in our house in Florida on the beach. All right, so I asked the guy, how do you figure out that these windows are better than those windows? What does it take to break them? All right, so if you really think about toughness and mental toughness, what does it take to break you? I don't care what circumstance you're faced with. What does it take to break your focus because you get frustrated about what happened on the last play? What does it take to make you give in because it's hot outside, or you're tired, or you don't feel like running to the ball, or giving effort, or finishing the play like you should? Because of how you feel, whether you're a little bit hurt, what does it take to break you? I'm not saying it's our goal to try to break you. It's just the way it is in football. When you go through camp, it's going to be difficult because you're getting yourself ready to play an entire season at a high level. So everybody here has got to have a lot of mental toughness to be able to sustain what we do at a high level. And just because you got beat on the last play, that can't affect your next play. All right? Or that's breaking you. Your frustration is breaking you. Just because you miss a block, or you get blocked, or you miss a tackle, or you fumble the ball. What does it take to break you? We broke Waddell last night on the tube. He got a little bloody nose, man. He was getting out the water faster than you can damn run 40 in. All right, so there's no easy way. And everybody here knows that I've always talked about discipline. But I think having toughness, what breaks you, is what helps you be able to maintain the discipline that you need to have to do what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, the way it's supposed to get done.
And hard men create soft times. Soft times create soft men. Soft men create hard times.
If you don't fail, you're not even trying. My wife told me this great expression. To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did.
Failure has been achieved, thank God. Now, the only place to go from failure is to win. You have to achieve failure. You have to take it that far. Nobody wants to go that far. It's too scary. But you know something? I got news for you. That's where winning is. It always has been. Nothing's changed since the 70s. Nothing. except people train not as hard.
The hardest thing in life is figuring out who you are and what you want to do for the rest of your life. And once you figure that out, you wake up every day and you work toward it. It's impossible for you to fail if you know who you are, what you want to do, and you wake up every day and work toward it.
I love this game. I live this game. And there's 1,000 other guys waiting in the wings who are obsessed with this game. Obsession's gonna be talent every time. You got all the talent in the world, but are you obsessed? When you walk on that court, you have to think, I am the
best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children.
Les Brown's a motivational speaker. He made an analogy about this. He says, imagine you're on your deathbed, and standing around your deathbed are the ghosts representing your unfulfilled potential. The ghost of the ideas you never acted on. The ghost of the talents you didn't use. And they're standing around your bed, angry, disappointed, and upset. They say, we came to you because you could have brought us to life, they say. And now we have to go to the grave together. So I ask you today, how many ghosts are going to be around your bed when your time comes?
Damn, Rod, come on!
Gotham's relying on
What's the matter with you?
to save us all.
There is no tomorrow! There is no tomorrow!
When I seen that Bentley at the boxing gym, and I seen that diamond Rolex, I said, I want that. And I knew what it took. So I know when my opponent is asleep, I'm out there at 4 or 5 in the morning, chopping trees, working, to this day. Because I can retire today. I'm well off, very comfortable. But I got the will to win.
The truth in front of you is it sucks. It's painful. It's fucking mind-numbing. Because this is what it takes, creating another voice and sometimes going at it alone. All the time going at it alone, because no one's gonna believe you. And that's that.
Work, 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 work. No results, but I'm a little bit better. Work, 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 work. Work, 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 work. No results, but I'm a little bit better. Work, 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 work. No results, I'm a little bit better. Work. Boom. Just got paid. I just got paid. And it looks like overnight success. Yeah. It's like, oh, shit. It happened in a year. No, bro. It doesn't.
Sacrifice temporary fun for permanent dreams, or sacrifice your permanent dreams for temporary fun.
And you have to learn how to fail. A lot of us have big dreams, big goals. And when you have goals that are maybe outside your reach, you have to know that getting
me introduce you to the concept of success. Ben Franklin was a pretty smart guy, and I want to start with a quote by him. If you do tomorrow what you did today, you will get tomorrow what you got today. You want to know what that means? The average American makes between 3 and 5% more each year. That's the deal. And in today's economy, I'm not sure we're going to make the 3 to 4 to 5% next year as employees. So it takes you 20 years to double your income in America as an average person. That's the mediocrity that we're stuck in life. And then you meet people who have the uncanny ability to double their income in a year, to get promoted 5 times in a year. The ones that beat the system, the ones that conquer it. You've all seen them, haven't you? The difference between them and the ones that don't do that is that they wake up in the morning and they think differently. They understand that if I do tomorrow what I did today, I'm going to get tomorrow what I got today. You want a bigger car? How about a nice house in Tahiti? Sure, would you love a nice house in the hills? We all want better things, don't we? We all want more friends, more stuff, more money, more security, more travel, more enjoyment. If you do the same thing tomorrow that you did today, you're stuck. Stuck. And it doesn't change. And it grows a little at a time. And you get a taste of success. But it's never fast enough. It never excites you. And when it does, it's a good month, or a good 2 months, or a good 3 months, but it doesn't provide a trajectory that creates success. So the first thing I want you to think about today is I want you to wake up tomorrow and do something different. And understand if you do the same damn thing, you're stuck. Just because you did it a certain way yesterday, there's no reason to do it that way today.
You wake up in the morning, you're failing. So you blame the president, you blame Congress, you blame Greece, blame the euro. I mean, construction in the street, it's the mayor, oh, it's the... And you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror and you're not failing because it's the other guy's fault or it's the economy's fault. But if you looked in the mirror and said, I'm failing because of me, you wouldn't like it and you'd change that. And I believe the common denominator of failure in any business is excuses.
Why are you failing? You never say because of me. Oh, it's the competition. It's the economy. It's the president. It's Congress. If you wake up tomorrow morning and blame your failure on someone or something else, you have no reason to change, do you? It's that son of a fault. Son of a gun! I did everything I could. But if you woke up in the morning and looked in the mirror and said, I am failing because of me, the decisions that I make, the energy I put in, I'm not passing the blame. If you look in the mirror tomorrow and say that, you will change. Because nobody likes thinking of themselves as a failure. How often does that happen to us in our day-to-day lives? Family, the biggest excuse of all. Time. Every one of those excuses was bullshit, wasn't it? Think about it. Every single one. At the end of the day, winners win.
But as long as you don't put it on you, you have no motivation to change it. So in short, if you own your failure, you'll own your success. If you don't own your failure, you'll never dig out. And I find that in any business, always the common denominator of failure.
With me is no one will outwork me. No one. I love and I respect you guys. You motherfuckers won't outwork me. All starts with this. 2 hands, putting it to work.
But you cannot erase the work ethic part. There is no getting around. Ain't no elevator to the top. You got to take the stairs. The elevator don't go to the top, man. Not in the world of success. You gotta take the stairs. Y'all gotta start getting gritty, man. I hate it when I see young people wasting their time. wasting all this technology you got, just sitting around in this world that's been created for you, that everything is instant. But if you could combine your technology with your parents and your grandparents' work ethic, you could be rich, man.
Just ask yourself this week, do people know you for your work ethic? Are people like, man, you work hard? Are people actually commenting about you showing up early and staying late? Because if they're not, you're just blending in with everybody else's work ethic. At the end of the day, talent will not win the game. It is work ethic that will win the game.
You gotta get gritty, man. You gotta develop some dog in you. You got to get messed up sometimes. You got to get dirty. You got to get your feelings hurt. You got to get disappointed. You got to get told no. But in order to get the life of convenience, you got to have a very uncomfortable life. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
And you're always gonna have haters, and haters are like, well, damn, man, how much are you gonna do? Like, you do a lot of shit. I say, yes, it's my ambition. Of course, you gotta work every day. It doesn't end. And when shit goes bad and it goes sideways, or you're coming through this injury, or people are writing you off, it should drive you.
If you're gonna get it, you're gonna have to have that dog. You got an opportunity. So here's the deal. When you have an opportunity, why would you give 80%, 70%? Why wouldn't you always give 120%? From today on, you play whatever your best game is, you play that level every single time. Every time you practice, you don't care what the circumstances, what the situation is, every single time, you give it 120%. It doesn't mean you're gonna score every time, but you can always give 120% effort.
Do we get what we deserve? Oh, we get what we deserve. And where down we go, oh, 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 where down we go, oh, 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 so where down we go, oh, 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 way down we go. Oh, you let your feet run wild. Time has come as we all go down. Yeah, but for the fall, ooh, my heart, do you dare to look them right in the eyes? Yeah. Oh, 'cause say we run you down to the door. Yeah, someday we run you down till you fall.
You are a man. Stand up and be a man.
We're gonna have wins, we're gonna have losses.
The difference is, how do you look at it? How do you approach it? How do you deal with it? How do you admit it and see it for what it is? And then what do you do about it? What do you do about it? You cry about it, you mope about it, you drink about it, you sleep around about it, you get mad and get in fights about it, you just hang around, just turn the world out, just zombie about it, you fry yourself with marijuana about it. Say, Dwayne, I'm sad. Dude, that's a part of life. You think you're the only man on this planet that's sad? Say, Dwayne, I'm going through depression. Well, welcome to the world. Welcome to the rest of us.
And that was when, like, the reality of the situation of, like, there was no escape. There was no one who was going to come to save me.
Hard times create hard men. Hard men create soft times. Soft times create soft men. Soft men create hard times. We are now around soft men and hard times.
There's a lot of men struggling right now. There's a lot of men, if you know, I talk about it a lot, that if you look at the stats around suicidality in the UK, the thing that's most likely to kill someone between the age of like 18 and 40 is themselves, for a man.
Do we really not know what it is to be a good man? And I would go so far as to say to be a good human being, right? Because take responsibility for what you're doing, take ownership of your life. Go do something that's hard. Go try and accomplish something that's hard. You may win, you may lose, you may succeed, you may fail. I'll tell you what, you'll be better. If you avoid those things that are hard, if you don't accept that challenge, if you don't step up and step into that cold water, and you sit on your couch and eat Doritos, I can tell you this is not a good move. This is not a good move. Don't do that.
It seems like, especially with confidence, right, or self-esteem, there's a relationship between confidence and competence.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're looking to do is try and have what you believe that you can do be ahead of what you can do.
Right.
Now, you're not looking for it to be delusional. You don't want it to be able to believe that you can do something like fly, right? But you need to have a relationship between the two. But what people are asking for is for their confidence to be so far ahead of their competence or without having even been competent at anything in the beginning. And that's just delusion, that's fantasy.
The life you want is on the other side of a few hard conversations, and you're living a life you hate because you're too afraid to have them.
Add some things to that list of what it takes to be a, maybe not a good man, but at least a happy and fulfilled man. One of the words you used is brotherhood. And I was thinking about all the things you got from your time in the SEALs, and it's almost a bit of like a microcosm of what I think a lot of men are looking for. That sense of purpose, that brotherhood. And they find it these days in like video games and stuff, right? Video games, I've got I cast no judgment on people that play video games. I've played video games my whole life. But it seems like there's a reason we're getting like increasingly addicted to these video games, because they're giving us something that we're searching for in real life and not getting. You used the words brotherhood, purpose. These are things that the SEALs clearly have in huge amounts. Is there anything else that you'd add to that list of what it takes to feel fulfilled?
Yeah, jiu-jitsu. It almost has become a joke amongst me, my friends, people that listen to me, is you got some kind of a problem in the world, you got some kind of problem in your life, go train jiu-jitsu. There's a reason why I say that. Because the things that you just mentioned, discipline. Guess what you need to go train jiu-jitsu when you're tired and you don't feel like it? Discipline. Guess how you feel when you're done? You feel awesome, you get a bunch of dopamine. Guess who you're there with? A bunch of dudes that you can relate to. And guess what you're gonna do together? You're gonna struggle. You're gonna go through some hardship together. You're gonna sweat, you're gonna choke, you're gonna get your arm broken. These things are gonna happen. Not gonna get your arm broken, but hey. But you're gonna be with a little brotherhood. And by the way, women train jiu-jitsu too. My daughters all train jiu-jitsu. It's all good. So yeah, jiu-jitsu is one way. Now look, could you go to the rock climbing gym? Yes, you could. Could you go to the CrossFit gym? Yes, you could. Could you go to the soccer? Yeah, the soccer field, football field, whatever. Yeah, you can do that stuff. So yeah, go do that stuff. That's shared suffering together with a group on a regular basis, whether you want to or not. Those are all little components of being in the military, being in the SEAL teams. That's what it is. That's what you're doing. What does a SEAL platoon do? They train to get ready go to war. How do they do that? They go to the desert, they carry their guns, they run through little choreographed moves, they get hot, they carry weight. It's suffering, it's just shared suffering, and they're working together. And they're learning skills. That's what you're doing in a jiu-jitsu gym. That's what you're doing on the soccer field. So go out and do those things with other human beings, and it's gonna make things better for sure.
You don't have to feel good about it, you just have to keep going. The feeling will pass, but you will remain. You are greater than your feelings. Going to bed late and waking up early to work for a few days won't kill you. You're not going to burn out. You're doing what it takes. If you're one of those people that push work-life balance, just remember, the people who like working a lot don't care. I've never regretted trying harder at anything ever. Hard times last long, but an epic story feels like a lifetime.
You have to build a person that can withstand the pressures of whatever they're going to be dealing with in life. And we don't do that. I'm not trying to send a message of run 200 miles, be the baddest motherfucker in the world, but be tough. You better have a part about you that's tough, a part about you that can break down situations and get better. And break down situations very quickly within some trauma in your life, some devastation in your life, because it's gonna come. The devastation, the trauma is gonna come, and you can't allow that to become a Jersey barrier. It can't be a Jersey barrier. It has to be something that you can maneuver through very quickly and move forward. That takes a lot of toughness.
Get up, move towards that challenge, whatever that challenge is. Move towards that challenge and go attack it. And you may be successful and you may not be successful, but you will be better.
At the end of the day, I ask myself one question. can I take one more step? And usually the answer is yes. So if you can answer that question and not take another step, that is real failure. That is real quitting. So a lot of people can take one more step, but they choose not to. I don't know if you can take 2 steps. You got to answer that question after you take the first step. But I can always take one more step. So if I choose not to, that's on me. And I got to live with that.
Extreme ownership is this went wrong, this failed, didn't accomplish this, and it's not the fault of my boss, it's not the fault of my girlfriend, it's not the fault of my parents, it's not the fault of the weather, it's my fault. And I'm gonna take ownership of it and I'm gonna fix it. That's what extreme ownership is. And this is a very difficult thing to do because it hurts. Because when you look around at your life and you look around at your job and your financial situation and your relationship and your physical health, and when you look at all those things and all the problems that you may have with those things, and you say the reason I have all those problems is because of me, that can hurt, that can sting. And a lot of times our ego rejects that and makes excuses and lies. And then we don't have to change anything. And then nothing changes.
Well, I believe that you have to build belief. Belief is like, there's an after school special belief where the mom says, believe in yourself, and that's all great, but there's also a built belief. And the built belief is one where you are constantly, like for me, I came from a bad place. How I build belief is through the daunting tasks I put myself through. So that's proof positive that I can. So it correlates. And that's how this piece of shit kid that I once thought I was built belief by saying, I was in 3 Hell Weeks. I went to Ranger School. I tried out for Delta Selection.
Undeniable stack of proof.
That is proof, motherfucker. So whenever you think you can't, the confidence comes from the thing that you built. You must build belief. You must build confidence. It can't be like, hey, I'm gonna go knock that shit out. You gotta look over here and say, I can knock that shit out. It's belief, and it's built on what you put in to yourself.
There's a lot of men, if you know, I talk about it a lot, that if you look at the stats around suicidality in the UK, the thing that's most likely to kill someone between the age of like 18 and 40 is themselves, for a man. You know, so men are clearly struggling in some capacity with purpose or meaning or something. So I almost feel like, you know, a lot of these sort of toxic influences of what a man should be have now emerged to offer answers. But I doubt those toxic influences. And I say there's got to be another role model, another sort of blueprint for what it is to show up as a man.
Well, I was going to give you a real, I guess it would have been a real cheap answer of, I think it's Marcus Aurelius, is stop discussing what it is to be a man and be one. I was gonna walk out of here with that one. I'd be like, pretty good question avoidance there. But there's some merit to that, right? And I was almost thinking like, do we really not know what it is to be a good man? And I would go so far as to say to be a good human being, right? Because when a few years ago, there was these discussions going around about toxic masculinity, right? And you take these traditional masculine traits and people were saying this is toxic masculinity and they're bad. And I wrote a couple articles about it. If you take any trait of a human being and you take it to an extreme, masculine or feminine or otherwise, you take it to an extreme, it's going to be a problem. It doesn't matter what it is. So if you take even a really positive trait like generosity, if you're a super generous person, that's wonderful. Is it possible to be too generous? Well, yes, it is. Now you're getting taken advantage of, and now you end up in an abusive relationship. Like, there's all kinds of problems that can happen. So when we talk about masculine traits and what's a man, well, what are some of the traditional masculine traits? To be competitive. Now, is it bad to be hyper competitive where you screw people over and you hurt your health because you want to win in this particular category? Is that bad? Yes, it is. Does that mean we have people that are not competitive at all and they don't care if they win or lose? No, that's not good either. So that's one trait. What's another good aggression? Aggression is a masculine trait. Is it good if I'm walking into a restaurant pushing the hostess out of my way? Of course, that's terrible. It's terrible. Is it good if you and I are working together and I say, hey, shut up and do what I said? Is that good? No, it's not good. So can you take aggression too far? Yes, you absolutely can. Can you get to a point where you're not even asserting yourself at all and you're getting what? Yes, you can. Is that good? No, that's not good either. So there's a bunch of traits that we could run through that are considered traditional masculine traits. And if you take any of those traits and you take them to an extreme, they're gonna be bad. Stoicism, right? Being stoic, being unemotional. Is it good to have no emotions whatsoever? No, that's called a sociopath, right? Is it good, like I was talking about earlier, to let your emotions run your life and make your decisions based on your emotions? No, that's not good either. What do we want to be as a human, as a man? Want to be balanced. You don't want to be extreme in any direction. Even when you ask me like, oh, Jocko, what are you undisciplined on? I told you chocolate chip cookies. I could have also said, yeah, sometimes I like to eat mint chocolate chip milkshakes. Sometimes I get lazy to work out and you know what? I freaking warmed up and this sucks and I'm leaving. Sometimes I was gonna write something and now I didn't write anything. I was supposed to write 1,000 words today, I didn't write anything, and guess what? I didn't write any tomorrow. And so I'm a slacker. So if I was so disciplined that, you know, my wife was like, hey, let's go out for dinner. I was like, no, I still gotta write my 1,000 words. Is that good? No, it's not good. So any characteristic, if we take it to extreme, it's gonna be a problem. And so we, as people, should be balanced. And I think what we need to be attuned to is it's much easier to be extreme. It's much easier to say, oh, no emotions, cool, and turn them off. That's easier than, or a total emotion mayhem, that's easier. It's harder to find balance. It's harder to find balance in business, it's harder to find balance in life, it's hard to find balance. And what we have to do is we have to be attuned to the that we're getting. We have to be attuned to the feedback that we're getting. So if we're talking to our wife and she says, you're not gonna be home for dinner again tonight for the 9th night in a row that you're gonna stay late at work, you need to be paying attention enough to say, oh yeah, guess what? I'm a little too focused on work right now. And then the other end of that spectrum is my boss says, hey Jocko, wait, you're leaving early again? Well, you know, it's wrestling season. My daughter's got a wrestling match, so I'm gonna leave. Okay, I need to be attuned enough to say, yeah, if I focus 100% on my job, I'm gonna lose my family. If I focus 100% on my family, I'm gonna lose my job. As humans are supposed to be balanced.
I know of no better life purpose than to perish in attempting the great and impossible. The fact that something seems impossible shouldn't be a reason to not pursue it. That's exactly what makes it worth pursuing. Where would the courage and greatness be if success was certain and there was no risk? The only true failure is shrinking away from life's challenges.
And you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail, and then you're gonna win. And that's life. Life without those challenges, it's just existence. Don't just exist, go live.
I am at peace, ready for war.
It's always going to be a party. It's always going to be a time to celebrate and a time to join friends or a day to, I mean, the bars are always open. Always open. No matter how old you are, they're always open, you know? What's not always open is the opportunity to check the box in life. You know, to achieve your dreams. That's not always open.
You are behind. You off for 7 years. You are behind. You should have anxiety and you should have urgency and you should want to go. And you shouldn't try to run from that anxiety because that anxiety is telling you, hey, bro, it's time to get your gear. It's time to get going. You can't really lose if you decide to go because you're going to go down the path and you're going to face obstacles and that obstacle is going to teach you a lesson. So by not going and talking yourself out, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy of never gaining any skills and never making any progress.
Hard work brings great rewards. This is a reminder of the hard work and dedication that I put into everything that I've done. I'm not content because I know where I came from and I don't ever want to go back.
How bad do you want it? There's two options. To continue forward, pushing upward. And if you do, that dream is given birth and forever you will live in the reality of it. If you stop, quit, throw in the towel, I promise you there's no distance you can travel far enough to ever find that dream again. For it is dead. And in its death, is replaced by regret.
The world needs people like you. It needs people to build. It needs people to create. It needs people to set an example. There's nothing wrong with you for being an ambitious person. The world wouldn't exist as we know it without ambitious people. The world wouldn't exist as we know it without creative people who are willing to pay the price to build what they see in their mind before anyone else sees it. Okay, so you are needed. You need to stop thinking that all these morons on the internet have it figured out. Unless you want their life, don't listen to them, dude, and start understanding that if you do listen to them and you're one of these people who was meant to come here and create, you're gonna waste your whole life trying to fit in a box with a bunch of people who aren't ever gonna accomplish a thing.
What would have had to have happened in a week for you to look back on that week with pride? Maybe stop breaking promises to yourself. When you say, I'm going to wake up tomorrow at 7 a.m. and when the option comes to hit the snooze button, don't do it. There's one win that you've got for the day. That's action.
People struggle to do things alone. And the path of the exceptional person is one of an exception, which means that you are not with other people. And rather than fighting that or bemoaning it, see it as an indicator that you're on the right path. Because if everyone else were cheering you on, then it means you're not in the right place, because it means you're just like everyone else, and that's not where you want to be.
I don't want to live in a hole anymore. It makes me feel poor.
We are poor, but we're happy.
Anyway, the views are better above ground. Honey, I'm 7 non-Fox years old now. My father died at 7.5. I don't want to live in a hole anymore, and I'm going to do something about it.
It won't get harder. Like, this is the hardest part. And so if you can just make it through this, everything else is downhill. It's not that the things that the dragons are going to slay aren't going to get bigger. They are. But you become so much more equipped to slay them back. And you have so many more allies. You have people in the stands cheering for you. You have the audience. You have all of these other things that are behind you. But in the beginning, it's just you with a stick against a bear. No one can learn it for you. It's like there's a lot of the things that we care about a lot. Like, no one can work out for you. Doesn't matter how much money you have. No one can learn skills for you. And so in the early days, like, it feels so painful because you're like, you look around to see who can help you, and then you're like, fuck, it's me again.
And I'm saying to you, what if all of us took that attitude after we face a rejection and a no, or we have a meeting and no one shows up, or somebody say, you can count on me, and they don't come through? What if we have that kind of attitude? The car's repossessed. Nobody believes in you. You've lost again and again and again. The lights are cut off, but you're still looking at your dream, reviewing it every day, and say to yourself, it's not over until I win.
Expecting it to be easy is what makes it much harder than it ever is.
Rise, young warrior. You must get up. Your journey is not over.
I can't fight him. He has all my weapons. I have nothing.
When you began your journey, you were determined. Nothing could stop you. And now that you are so close, are you willing to give up so easily?
What's the point of fighting my way up the mountain when someone else is just going to come up the easy way?
There is always going to be someone who does things the easy way. But that should not stop you from doing things the right way. It is your journey, young warrior. Only you decide when it ends.
Look, I'd love to sugarcoat this thing for you. I'd love to tell you, look, you can go out here and get rich, do a couple of things. That ain't happening. You got to get real doggish. You got to get downright funky if you want to make it. Now, like I was telling you before, if you want to be ordinary, you ain't even got to listen to me. Just go on about your business. If you think ordinary's cool, ain't no problem. But if you are sitting in this room and you have extraordinary aspirations, then you're gonna have to do extra. It's no other way. You have to decide if you are willing to do the things to put you in that category. Rich people don't sleep 8 hours a day. That's a third of your life. It ain't but 24 hours in a day. You cannot be sleep 8 hours a day. You can't live in LA and wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. The stock market been open 2 hours. They already making decisions about your life, and your ass was asleep.
No matter how much emotion and feeling you may have or how much hurt you may have, life has to go on. Life doesn't stop for anybody. So if you don't process that and understand that, you're stuck in whatever time period you got.
If you think that you're gonna go and accomplish something really special and be the best in anything in the world, and you think you can do it without working, you make a big mistake. Because no matter what I did, if it was in bodybuilding or in acting or if it was in the political arena, it always took a lot of work. And you got to put out, and you got to, sometimes make a lot of sacrifices. Notice, if you're not willing to work hard, forget about it. So there's another rule that is very important.
Work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100 hour weeks every week.
Yes, I get up at crazy hours, whether it's 3 o'clock in the morning, by the way. When we were talking in London, I was getting up at 3 because I had to be on set by 7. So whatever time my call time is, so my call time is at 7, then you back your clock up 4 hours, and then that's when I get up and train twice. I'll get my cardio in and breakfast, and then I'll go hit the weights. Clanging and banging, we call it.
The only thing that I see that is distinctly different about me is I'm not afraid to die on a treadmill. I will run.
You would not be outworked.
I will not be outworked, period. You might have more talent than me, you might be smarter than me, you might be sexier than me, but if we get on the treadmill together, right, there's 2 things. You're getting off first, or I'm gonna die. It's such a simple, basic concept. It's the guy who is willing to hustle the most is gonna be the guy that just gets that leap forward.
I always believe that the bridge between reality and a dream is work. And I always, in moments of despair and doubt and dark days, focus on the work. I show up and I work and I work and I work and I work.
The only thing that you can control that influences success in life is how hard you work, how honest you are, and how well you deal with others. You can control those variables. You can't control how lucky you are, although the more you work, the luckier you get. You have no influence on the intellectual capabilities that God did or did not give you, but you can work as hard as possible. You can be scrupulously honest so that people respect you, and you can get along with others because nobody does anything by themselves.
Nobody you know has actually created success without working their face off.
Sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, now go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hit. And not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
This here is all about my wife, my kids, the life that I live. Through the night, I was his. It was right what I did. My ups and downs, my slips, my falls, my trials and tribulations, my heart, my walls, my mother, my father. I love him, I hate him. Was God, I didn't have him, but I'm glad that he made him. The roaches, the rats, the strays, the cats, the guns, knives, and bats. Every time I scrap, the hustle, the stealing, the robbing, the stealing, the shit, the ceiling. What's wrong with you? You're too. Now you got a phone. Trap the center page, the beatings till the age. I carry the 12 gauge.
Look at me now! Never know!
What they don't know is the bullshit, the drama, the guns, the armor, the city, the farmer, the babies, the mama, the projects, the drugs, the children, the thugs, the tears, the hugs, the love, the slugs, the funerals, the wakes, the churches, the coffins, the heartbroken mothers. It happens too often. The problems, the things we use to solve them. Yonkers, the Bronx, Brooklyn, Harlem, the hurt, the pain, the dirt, the rain, the jerk, the fame, the work, the game, the friends, the foes, the bins, the hoes, the studios, the shows, comes and it goes. The jealous, the envy, the phony, the friendly, the one that gave him the slugs, the one that put him in the snakes, the grass, too long to see, the lawnmower sitting right next to the tree.
Do you want to know why I'm here today? It's not because I want to give you a pep talk or because I want to make you feel good about yourselves. No, I'm here to tell you the truth. You see, life is a game. And like any game, it has rules. But the thing about rules is that they're meant to be broken. That's right, broken. Because the only way to truly win at this game is to play by your own rules. You've been told all your life that you need to conform, to fit in, to do what's expected of you, but I'm here to tell you that that's a load of crap. You want to know why? Because the people who play by the rules, the people who do what's expected of them, never end up really living. You see, the world is full of sheep, people who blindly follow the herd, never questioning where they're going or why they're going there, but you don't have to be one of them. And I know what you're thinking, but what if I fail? What if I make a fool of myself? What if people don't like me? Well, let me ask you this, what's worse? Living a life full of regret or taking a chance and possibly failing? I'll tell you what I think. I think it's better to have tried and failed than to have never tried at all. Because at least then you'll know. You'll know that you had the guts to go after what you wanted, to follow your own path, to be true to yourself. You see, life is a cruel joke, a never-ending carnival of chaos and madness. But in that madness, there is a beautiful truth that many fail to see. You are the master of your own destiny, the painter of your own canvas, and the architect of your own life. You have the power to forge your own path, to create your own reality, and to be the person you've always wanted to be. But society, with its rules and expectations, will try to hold you back. They will tell you to conform, to fit in, to be like everyone else. But I say, why be like everyone else when you can be extraordinary? Why follow the path of mediocrity when you can blaze your own trail? It's time to break free from the shackles of conformity and embrace the beast within you. It's time to dance to the beat of your own drum and to live life on your own terms. It's time to be unapologetically you, to be bold and fearless. So break free from those limits, rise above the ashes, and let your true self shine like the blazing sun. For you are unique, you are powerful, and you are capable of achieving greatness beyond your wildest imagination.
I feel like DJ Petway's played this year, and also, I guess, you know, he got his degree recently. How gratifying is it to see him, you know, make the most of his second chance back with you guys?
Well, you know, I think, you know, he's done a really good job. DJ's done a really good job for us all year long. He's a hard worker. He's certainly been productive for us in the games. He's provided a lot of depth for us. He's been a starter at times. He gives us something in pass rush that we don't have enough guys that can do that. You know, with some of the bigger guys we have to play with on rundowns, he comes in and plays a real critical role for us. You know, I think sometimes players don't understand how important roles are. You know, you got a guy that plays a role in a passing situation, or you got a guy that's a 6 DB or whatever, all right, and all of a sudden they don't, that's a critical role. You know, it's a critical role to get off the field on third down. But yet, just like a middle reliever or a closer, that's not a starting pitcher. Guy may only pitch to 3 batters, but that's a critical role because you're finishing the game. It's a critical part of the game. And I think sometimes I appreciate those kind of guys a lot more on the team than they even appreciate themselves, all right, because they all just want to play more. All right, but DJ's really done a good job with that, and he's contributed and done everything we've asked him to do, every way we've asked him to do it, and never been anything but positive about doing it. All right, and it was, you know, really, really good for me, and I think some of our administrators around here, all right, who, our president, who shakes hands with all of our players when they walk across the stage and graduate, when we give somebody a second chance and they do well and graduate from school. You know, there's always a lot of criticism out there when somebody does something wrong. Everybody wants to know, how are you going to punish the guy? All right, but there's not enough for 19 and 20-year-old kids, people out there saying, why don't you give them another chance? All right, so I'm going to give a speech right now about this. Like, where do you want him to be? Guy makes a mistake. Where do you want him to be? You want him to be in the street? Or do you want him to be here graduating? You know, when I was over there at the Nagurski, Muhsin Muhammad, who played 15 years for the Carolina Panthers, played for me at Michigan State. Everybody in the school, every newspaper guy, everybody was killing the guy because he got in trouble and said there's no way he should be on our team. I didn't kick him off the team. I suspended him. I made him do stuff. He graduated from Michigan State. He played 15 years in the league. All right, he's a president of a company now. And he has 7 children, and his oldest daughter goes to Princeton. So who was right? I feel strong about this now, really strong. All right, about all the criticism out there of every guy that's 19 years old that makes a mistake, and you all kill him. And then some people won't stand up for him. So my question to you is, where do you want him to be? You want to condemn him to a life sentence? Or do you want the guy to have his children going to Princeton? You want to close on that, or we want to just... You guys are getting me fired up. You better be careful on this one, buddy. You might want to just pass that thing on down the road.
I'm sticking straight to this upcoming game right here.
I've been asleep, like all of us. I've been asleep because I've been distracted. It's nice to get a load of money. It's nice to get a load of attention.
I went to bed last night, had all these ideas about how you're going to get up this morning. It's going to be different. Things are going to be different. Today you're going to start taking steps towards doing some of those projects that you know will get you closer to living that dream life you keep playing over and over in your head. Different from the practical life that you got to get up and meet every day. To go to the cubicle-infested world and work a job just to pay the bills. Put gas in the gas tank to take you places where you don't really want to go, to be around people you don't enjoy being around. Put groceries in a refrigerator. Groceries that keep you fat and lazy, keep you away from being healthy and fit in your life.
What wakes you up? What drives you? Why are you playing this game?
Pay the mortgage on a house that doesn't inspire you. It's just a nuisance and you hate coming home to. And you know what makes it even worse? Is that you cower. Before you got from the bedroom to the kitchen, Mr. Ugly was there. Mr. Resistance, right in your ass, telling you what you were going to do different than what you want to do and what the inner voice inside of you tells you you need to do with your life. Telling you that those things that you believe matter and have a purpose in your life really don't. That the silly, the superficial, the stupid does.
Drives to the last few games have been pretty effective. I think three and outs in the first 4 drives tonight. What do you think was the issue there?
I think we've already said what the issue is. Their front 7, we couldn't run the ball effectively.
We just didn't play as well tonight. You got to give them a lot of credit for it. So, you know, I'm trying to get our players to listen to me instead of listening to you guys. You know, all that stuff you write about how good we are and all that stuff they hear on ESPN, it's like poison. You know what I mean? It's like taking poison, like rat poison. All right, so I'm asking them, are you going to listen to me or are you going to listen to these guys about how good you are? All right, just like your question right now, we get stopped 3 out of 4 times, like that's a bad thing? We're not going to beat everybody 66-3.